Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and are you ready to step back in the world of none other than Men in Black? Because Sony, for reasons best known to themselves, are moving ahead with a brand new movie. Yep, this comes hot on the heels of their last attempt absolutely bombing, but this time around it looks like Will Smith could have involvement in this one, and so far only Will Smith, and that his Bad Boys for Life writer is the one writing the script. Now, we're going to have a look at one of the articles that's going over this and kind of breaks down what all the movies have made over the years and stuff. But there's something interesting about every article I've seen that talks about this movie. Every single one of them has gotten something wrong. I don't know why, but somehow every article has got something wrong. But let's dive into this, because do we need or even want another Men in Black movie? So it's saying a new Men in Black sequel is in development at Sony, but whether Will Smith signs on as the star will all depend on one major element that's currently being worked on. The Men in Black franchise began in 1997 with Smith and Tommy Lee Jones as secret agents on a mission to keep extraterrestrial life on Earth a secret. It is mad to think that this franchise started all the way back in 1997 and they're still pumping them out. If by any chance you start hearing noise, by the way, the cat has managed to get a decoration off a Christmas tree and is currently playing with it, because he thinks the thing is a gigantic toy. But it continues. The sci-fi flick earned over $500 million at the box office and spawned 3 sequels in 2002, 2012 and 2019. Which is also interesting that none of the sequels were close to each other. None of them. So Bad Boys for Life screenwriter Chris Bermner is writing the script for a 5th Men in Black film, but according to Deadline, Smith's involvement all depends on what Brimner writes. Sony plans to include his character Agent J in the first draft, so that sounds like they have a thing of put his character in it, we see if he has interest, and if he doesn't, we'll move on without him. Kind of like what they did with Independence Day. Obviously that wasn't Sony, but if you remember, the original draft had his character, whose name I'm now completely forgetting, in it. And of course, when he decided to do something, what was the movie he actually passed on it to do? And I think it was a movie that, was it that After Earth? It could have been. Either way, he passed on it and they just swapped it out. But anyway, it's saying here, when the screenwriter has finished working on it, the actor will be sent the script to determine if he wants to return to the franchise. In the past 5 years, Brimner helped to revive the Bad Boys franchise with his work as a co-screenwriter on 2020's Bad Boys for Life and 2024's Bad Boys Ride or Die, which also starred Smith. Isn't it funny as well that the 3rd movie in Bad Boys they called For Life, and then the 4th movie was Ride or Die. For Life should have obviously been the 4th movie. They screwed up on that one. But no other cast member or producers have signed on to the film yet, as the 5th installment is still in the very early stages of development. If Smith does return for Men in Black 5, there's no guarantee he'll be the star of the movie. It's possible that the story could involve the action star handing over the reins to a different actor to lead the franchise in the future. Now, here's where they start getting a few things wrong. As Deadline noted, Sony might follow a similar trajectory as Creed, in which Michael B. Jordan's Donnie Creed, he's not Donnie, he's Adonis, that's the first screw up they have, took over from where Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa left off in the Rocky franchise. I think it's interesting, we've just done a story the other day about Creed 4 and spin-offs, and they're referencing Creed in this. After Men in Black became a phenomenon in the late 90s, Sony greenlit a sequel with Smith and Jones. Men in Black 2 grossed $445.1 million, so a trequel was inevitable, though it took 10 years for Men in Black 3 to finally hit the big screen, where it earned even more than the first sequel, with $654.2 million. Sony went ahead with a fourth film in the franchise, but Smith and Jones did not return since the studio treated Men in Black International as a reboot. Unfortunately, the Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson led movie was a flop at the box office and only scored a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. Despite that disappointment in 2012, so there's the other massive screw up they have, because it should say 2019, but they have it in 2012. And that's the thing that every one of the articles I've looked at has screwed up. They've all screwed up when Men in Black International came out. It came out in 2019. One of the articles I read said it's Men in Black International that released last year. It's like, buddy, it didn't release last year. It released almost 6 years ago. They're all getting that date wrong for some reason, but this says the iconic Men in Black franchise has made Sony over $1 billion, and getting Smith back on board could be a lucrative decision for the studio, as evidenced by the last year's Bad Boys Ride or Die. And here's the actual breakdown of all the money they made. So the first movie in 97, $589.4 million, which today, after inflation, is over $1 billion. So the first movie on its own has made them over $1 billion. Men in Black 2 in 2002 made $454.1 million. So you saw the numbers went down. Men in Black 3 in 2012 made $654.2 million. There's no answer as to why that movie made more. And then International is the lowest earning movie of them all, bringing in a mere $253.9 million. Now, here's the issue as well. Every one of these movies, except the first movie, absolutely suck. And I mean, they suck. I remember watching Men in Black in the cinema, and every single person in there was like, oh my god, they need to make another one of these. This thing was fantastic. And of course, it was left wide open for a sequel, and everybody was hoping and praying for a sequel. And then X amount of years passed and they finally did it. And unfortunately, that was the issue. They actually made a sequel, because you sat there, you watched it. I went to the cinema to see that one, and everybody stood up after that movie and went, what the hell was that? All the funniest stuff was already in the trailers, and all the funniest stuff was just the jokes from the first one, just with the characters reversed, where all the weird crap was happening to Tommy Lee Jones instead of Will Smith. Men in Black 3 is god awful. And I remember, I wonder if all of you do as well, Josh Brolin took shots at Jonah Hex when he signed on to Men in Black 3. The first thing he did was he turned around and went, hey, at least I've actually signed on to a movie with a script. And what happened? Turned out, yeah, they didn't have a script. In fact, they filmed for over 2 weeks without a script. And all you have to do is watch the opening part of that movie with Emma Thompson and doing the weird noises at, like, what was it, the funeral or something, and you were like, yeah, you can pretty much tell you had no script. Movie was absolutely horrendous. And after watching Men in Black 3, I couldn't figure out for the life of me whether that was meant to be a comedy or whether they took a different direction and were like, we're going to make it a serious drama, because it was not funny at all. The less said about Men in Black International, the better, because sweet Jesus, I'm talking about nothing is memorable about that. It was horrible. So, at the end of the day, it's a franchise that's like up and down. It's never really made massive amount of money. And think, when you're seeing these numbers, they're like, well, Men in Black 3 made over 500, like it hit 654. Yeah, but these budgets were probably going up as well. Now we're in 2025, obviously they would be looking to shoot this thing for probably 2026, late 2026, early 2027 for probably a 2028 release. What the hell's the budget going to be on this? More importantly, who the hell wants it? As far as I can see, nobody. But maybe that's just me. What do you guys think? Are you excited for a new Men in Black movie? Is Will Smith returning to the franchise? Is that the kicker for you? Does that get you more pumped for? Let me know. And of course, what do you think of all the movies? Do let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers. And I will catch you in the next one.